Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Um, Apologies yet again for the delay. We were just sharing this around Facebook right now. So just give me a second. I'm finishing up one last one, just one last one, and then we'll get this whole show popping. So we are, and we're gonna go into that, but just give me one last. Sorry, please excuse the delay on the show, but I think we are good to go. Then, so welcome to the Men Like Us podcast. Actually, let me cut the music. Cut the music. All right. So, welcome to the Men Like Us podcast. It's a podcast that is for men by men. It is a podcast that is aimed at men who on any level are attracted to women of trans experience. Obviously, there are a lot of guys that are just brand new, and we want to have conversation with a lot of guys that are new in their attraction. Have some conversation for the fellas that have been in it for a minute. So yeah, that's just what the show is. I'm here for the fellas. I'm here for the men. Fellas, this is our platform to be free about our thoughts and opinions, and as I do with every show, this is a men's space. We're gonna be keeping it real, saying that, talking that shit in a way that's palatable to men. So please, observe the trigger warning and understand that we keeping it real. And if we say something you don't agree with, stick in there. It's okay to disagree. All right. So with that said, we are going to just jump right into this. So somebody has sent me a clip from TS Madison's new show. So TS Madison has a show on Fox Soul, And I guess I shouldn't be showing that so soon. So, TS Madison has a new show on Fox Soul. I forget the name of the show, but that doesn't diminish it at all. But, shout out to TS Madison for getting on Fox Soul. I was once interested in trying to get one of my friends on there. But yeah, didn't come through. But anywho, yeah, so she had a show. She's got the show, and on the show, somebody sent me a clip of it where they're trying to facilitate like a barbershop talk with men. And it's black men, in this barbershop. I don't know if it was a real barbershop. I don't know. It was just one guy in the chair and another guy standing behind him. He wasn't cutting his hair though. He was just like there. But enough of that. That isn't really worthwhile criticism. But it was a conversation, and it was definitely a little cringeworthy. And that's not hating on TS Madison or the show. It's just the conversation itself just was, yeah. And it was just interesting. There were just some things that I think, probably could have helped it, really fulfill its mission, which is to, reach a larger audience and really speak to black men and have conversation in a way, where people kind of leave with something, but, of course, weren't any guys who were transamorous on there, which was definitely a mistake, in my opinion. And obviously we are, we can be found through my podcast, through everybody else's YouTube channels, whether it's Corey, the Real Talk Podcast with Mike. You can find Troy, you can find Lex Newman. There are guys out there, and Jay Alva. So anywho, we're going to play a couple clips from the show. We're going to have some conversation, and we're really going to oh, is it not working? Okay. And we're really just going to chat it up here. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the homies on. So I'm bring my main man, Mike Brooklyn. What's good? What's good, homie?
Showing you.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right, brother. And my main man, Trail.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know the vibe. We live.
Brooklyn,
so fellas. Brooklyn. So fellas, y'all both saw the clip. Y'all saw the show segment. And very, very, very briefly before we give our in depth, what was your overall like just surface level impression on it? I mean, Trail, go have at it.
You
man.
gotta say somebody to go first or something, because I mean.
Yeah. No, it's good. Go for it, bro.
Okay, me, personally, I feel like it was type staged. I mean, they seemed real politically correct about certain things. They didn't let their true feelings come out, in which me personally, I'm the type, I like to be raw. Just give me your real feelings so I know what to take from you. You understand what I'm saying? So, me personally, I just think I felt like it was kind of staged, and and then they had the one of the gentlemen that was there was also a gay man, and it seemed like he just came to the conversation. He heard the conversation and just jumped in like, hey, well, okay, this is interesting. Well, what are we talking about here? That seemed a little staged to me too. Whatever. Ain't got nothing. But put it like this. I'm letting it be known. I don't have nothing against it. I love TS Madison for having that conversation. We do need conversations like that. But at the end of the day, we have men that's like us that's out here. Come talk to us. Bring us on in these things. It's not hard to reach us. We're everywhere. But,
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
And Mike,
I'll be honest with you, the entire show turned out with TS Madison. I like the show in general. So shout out to TS Madison. Got love for Maddie. But that one segment, the fact that it was like one guy named Jay Billions who happens to be like I guess woke to a certain extent. He went in there and like he went in there and he had a bunch of dudes that none of them, not one person on there is transamorous or trans attracted or whatever. And basically the guys didn't even the guys on there didn't even have to say nothing. Like they didn't have to say anything in the ring. Their faces, like their expressions, said it all. You know what I'm saying? Like the expressions on their faces said it all. They didn't even have to say a word. So that's why I feel like you know, the fact that they did it that way, it was done wrong. You know, if they redid it and they did it with guys that are transamorous, maybe one or two guys that are cis hetero, you know, like it could be a real conversation.
I mean, that's all the same crowd. So, you know, you're talking about men who specifically only date cisgender women.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, if you have, say, like two guys that only date cisgender women, like you said, whatever, and then you have two guys that date trans women, you know, it could be a real conversation. But at the same time, it's a conversation that's kind of like dead in the water anyway.
Well, let's you know, we're gonna just play a little bit of it. So we are gonna have some clips from the show in here, and where did that go? All right. So, but the way this whole system plays video is a little janky, so just bear with us. But this is the intro to it.
Started, I have my straight correspondent, JB, is out here on the streets to get the male's point of view in regards to the transgender discussion.
So that's the intro for the segment. And then, I mean, hell, let's just dive right into it, you know. So you know, the J Bills, he goes in there and, or J, is it Billions?
J Billions, yeah.
Billions, he goes in and, you know, he asks the guys flat out, like, all right, man, like, is it gay to date transgender women? And, you know, the guys, I'll say it like this. Nobody said no. They gave some half answers, and they were really like, yeah, well, you know, the guy in the show was like, well, that's tough. That's tough. And then the other guy was like, and after the guy said that's tough, but he didn't say yes or no.
His face said it.
He really avoided it. But after that, I guess the facilitator, Mr. Billions, asked this question. And I mean, even the way this question was phrased was like not great. So let's check this out.
It is a woman, right? I mean,
well, when I hear the words transgender woman,
now we're gonna go back to the beginning on that shit.
Right? I mean, it is a woman, right? I mean,
well, when I hear the words transgender woman, I think of a man dressed as a woman who is not physically a woman, but aesthetically a woman.
So, I mean, yeah. Like, so the guy asks if this was, you know, is it gay? And then he bumps in with it. But, you know, but then the way he started out was like, it is a woman, right? And obviously transgender women aren't it's. That's definitely something you don't want to lead with. But it was just like a what? And then, you know, I mean, but you know what I appreciate about that video clip was the fact that guy was telling the truth in the way that he sees it, because like these conversations need to happen in a way where people can feel like they can be real and they can tell their truth. But on the other side of it, you know, the biggest flaw with this whole clip was they didn't have somebody like us facilitating it and helping him understand a different way.
Nope.
So like Billions kind of just rolled with it and just let it be. And there was no challenge to that. And I'm not saying getting up and arguing and trying to read people, because that's not how men operate. Because you do that junk, y'all gonna be fighting, especially in a barbershop, black barbershop. Y'all gonna be fighting. So, but I think, you know, without having somebody like any one of us or Troy or Doug or Rick, any of the guys that we know, you know, I think it really required a straight man with hold on a second. What happened here? Some of your stream connections that you okay. I guess we're good now. Sorry, I was having connection issues there, but you know, just one of the guys with a better level of understanding, definitely could have facilitated that conversation a lot better. And I feel like it just would have worked out a lot better. But, they just took this guy, and obviously he didn't have the tools or weapons ready to, facilitate that or try to help this guy understand things in a different way. Because, it really, like, when you do this stuff, first off, this was taped. This is entertainment TV. Entertainment TV, I've worked in the entertainment TV world. They did multiple takes on this junk. There were multiple takes. That's why it seems heavily edited, because it is heavily edited. It's heavily edited. That's just the way TV works. And that's totally fine if that's just how TV works. But, I just think it, I really think we could have helped him. I think we really could have helped people understand things a little bit better, because what happens is when you let that junk go, you let it fly on a national TV show, because Fox Soul is national. It lets it fly for other people too. You're not providing anything to give that person sitting at home something to think about, something to consider. You're not giving them a new perspective where they're like, oh, damn, I never thought about it like that. Dang, you know what? Okay, that does make sense. Or they think on it for a while. And they're like, oh, wow, that does. I'm sorry. I get how people can see it like that. Like, there was no new perspective. What's that, bro?
Yeah, it's given the same narrative that all these motherfuckers use.
Pretty much. But like, just for somebody to say that and then nobody offer a differing opinion, it was just like, and it would have been a lot more powerful if it was a black man, a black straight cis man who came with that energy, like not saying fuck you, dude, but like, yo, okay, I see you see it like that, but can you understand it this way? Or here's what I'm trying to help you understand, bro, or share with you. I know. I'm sorry, Troy. I cut you off, man.
No, I didn't cut me off. But yeah, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say about that. Wow.
That's on me. That's on me, bro.
Well, yeah, but what really got me is when the guy said, "Oh yeah," but when I think about a trans woman, I think about a guy dressed as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's far from that. It's not that. That's not the same thing. A guy that dresses as a woman is a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
That's not a trans woman.
Yeah.
And these are the things I was trying to get people, especially like people in my inner circle, I'm trying to get them to understand. That doesn't deal with trans women. I'm trying to get them to understand, like, yo, it's a total difference. Don't compare a drag queen or a cross-dresser to a trans woman. That's totally different. Those are three different things that you are referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot compare the two. It's not the same thing at all.
Well, in defense of the show, though, those are real thoughts and sentiments held by a lot of people.
Right, which I get.
And
I get.
I think that does need to be represented in the conversation, but there also needs to be someone coming with a different perspective, not just allowing the words to hit and everything go flat and nobody's saying nothing. It's just accepted. So, I really think, and when it comes to the low budget entertainment TV, in this way, and that's no shots fired situation. I'm just saying that because I've worked in the low budget entertainment TV. They're bringing in producers that don't know anything about this space. They don't know nothing, period. And you're lucky if they're black working on a project like this. So
but here's the thing to capitalize on, like, what Trell was trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Niambi said it best. So shout out to Trans Talk Tuesday. Like, drag queen is performance.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's an art.
Gender is identity.
For sure.
Yeah, so you can't confuse performance with identity. That's like saying, okay, so there's no difference between RuPaul and TS Madison when clearly there's a difference. RuPaul gets paid to dress as a woman. TS Madison lives the life of a woman every day.
I mean, TS Madison is a woman. RuPaul is a man. So
that just right.
But see, these are the things that, like, whoever they pick to facilitate these conversations, they need to come with this stuff, not just sit there and be like, Yeah. All right. And then
Yeah,
you ain't got what? That's it.
yeah. I'm just saying,
There's a
living as a
misfire,
woman.
man.
Yeah. I'm saying living as a woman and performing as a woman are two different things.
Right.
If you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a performer, you're a performer. So you can't confuse the two. If you're dressing as a woman, but then you're a man outside of it, that's performance. But TS Madison, you look at her, what do you see? You see a woman.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm gonna just jump to the next clip because then the conversation kind of it started at is it gay, and then it went over to disclosure kind of out of nowhere. Like they weren't getting anywhere on this whole is it gay thing, and they just kind of went over to disclosure. And I'm gonna just share this clip here. And all right, here we go.
You feel like it is them lying to you if they don't tell you, hey, I was born a boy.
Well, yeah, they should say that up front before you start dating, because a lot of situations, as we see in today's society, end up in a very deadly manner.
Hey, wait. What's the conversation again?
So yeah, that part. We're not gonna jump too deep into the end there, but it was like the video started with just the two guys in the chair, and then they brought in this other guy in the green, and then he was sitting there talking about yeah, there needs to be disclosure and this and this, and then you can see the jump cut where they're like, okay, this is awful. New guy, come on in. But it was just like the first two guys, they were hearing what they wanted. Then they did a jump cut straight to that other guy, and I understand why, but it was just like and here's the thing, I actually do differ from people. Disclosure is something that a lot of people differ on, and what they were talking about for just like the ways that they were talking about women who got a GRS or SRS or anything like that.
Right.
Like the way they were, the girl with all the parts, and if she has all that, then it's like
equipment. That's what he was saying.
So the equipment, yeah. So that's what's like so they were talking about specifically, I guess they were talking about post-op women, and they weren't really talking about non-op or pre-op women, from what I understand in that video or in that small piece of the discussion. But the guy was like, yo, hey, people should be disclosing right off top X, Y, and Z, whatever, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different opinions about that. There's a lot of women that I know that would beg to differ on that question. And they would say, nah, don't nobody, I shouldn't have to tell nobody right off top, and disclosing on the first date or before the first date or whatever else is not something I should have to do. And disclosure shouldn't have to happen until you have sex. That's the way a lot of people believe. So I mean, but I will say there is a diverse wealth of opinion on that. But I know a lot of girls I know, they don't, that I've heard from, they don't want, I'm sorry, disclosing off top is not a popular, they don't want that. They don't think it should be happening.
Right. So, I was, my fault, my God.
Oh no, I was only gonna say, like, okay, I know there are guys out there that have like an overload level of machismo and think that they could fuck any girl walking down the street. But the only thing is, there are women out there that aren't gonna just give it up to you right away. So if you ain't fucking her, if you ain't dating her, if you ain't married to her, if you ain't ready to commit, it's not her position to let you know off top what her T is. Because if she chooses to, that's because she sees something there going further, that you two will be having more conversations and you'll at least be a good friend, let alone maybe even a boyfriend. But if she's not planning to fuck you, why is she gonna tell you? She she's just gonna go live her life and go to work every day, do what she got to do. So her having to disclose to you just because you have a dick between your legs, no, she doesn't have to.
Right. basically what I was about to get at. You know, I was one to always say, yeah, you should disclose at all times because of the safety reasons. Why? But you know, a lot of girls, you know, told me, you know, a lot of friends of mine told me the reason why they don't disclose off top because it could be even more dangerous if they do disclose. Because you got guys that, you know, would, how you say, hear about it. Now all of a sudden they really interested. They really want to talk to them. And the only agenda they have for them is to get them in bed. Have a quick leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and then, you know, some ladies is really gonna protect themselves from that, you know, because they're not trying to be looked at as a quick leg. They're not trying to be like a sex object or anything like that, which I do understand. I totally get it. But you know, a lot of girls don't disclose off top just like that. But what Mike was saying, like, they do disclose. They don't have to disclose what's between their legs. Yes, I totally agree with that. You don't have to do that either.
No,
You know,
I mean, I think that's involved. I think that's really, you know, a lot. But here's what I will say. You know, what I will say not in defense of men, but I'm gonna just be real straight up, and you know, we keeping it real here. I'm not here to say things everybody likes. I'm just here to say things as I see it, as Chris. So, you know, I really think women should give. I think every man should have the opportunity to make an informed decision about which women he's going to go out on a date with or not. Because for me, if I'm taking a woman out on a date and I'm spending money and I'm, you know, X, Y, and Z, like, sorry, but he's spending his money essentially thinking one thing and it's a whole different thing. And, you know, there are people that will flare up and get upset about it. Like, it's kind of like being defrauded in a way because you didn't know and you weren't given the opportunity to make an informed decision. Now, I get everybody is not peaceful and there are men that are violent, and I understand the safety concerns on that. I'm just sharing that one side of it. As a man, I would like to know what's going on just so that I know that I'm dating the kind of woman that I want to date. Because it can go the other way. It can go the other way where, you know, I'm talking to a girl and I think she's trans and she's actually cis. And then, you know, let's just say if I'm locked in and I only want to date trans women, okay, well, you just wasted my money and my time by not disclosing, knowing this is what I like.
Okay.
Knowing this is I want this, but you're not in line with what I've been vocal about what I want. I know it's not popular, but I'm gonna just keep it real. I just think people need to have the opportunity to make an informed decision. Now, you know, I know there's other dynamics of being in person, whatever else, but I think the internet has afforded us a great opportunity, at least on the surface level, when these conversations start before there's a date or anything. Hey, just so you know, this is what you opted in for. All right, and I don't want to hear about no surprises, nothing like that. Cool. You know, this person ain't never met you. They don't know where you live. They just met you on a date night. Like,
I get. What I'm saying though is like, you know, just because you're a man doesn't make you God's gift to women. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you walk in on a first date, it's a first date. Everybody knows that a first date is an interview. That's all it is. So let's say you did meet her off Tinder or whatever app out there is popular right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, 9 out of 10 of the girls, when they have a profile, it says in the profile, transgender. But let's say she's one of those girls that tries to live stealth, right? You're on the date. The date is an interview. So if you're attracted to trans women or if you're attracted to cis women, whatever the case is, and you just you just want to know, like I said, the first date is an interview. If the moment feels right, you can go ahead and ask.
Look,
I get what you're saying, but sometimes
a date costs money and time, bro.
Right.
And
some people just want that off top. Some people like, I'm not even gonna say people. Men gonna want to know off top, regardless of what. If you want to live stealth, that's your right.
Now, here's the thing, though. If this is just somebody you meet at a club, some guy look. If I just talk to a girl at the club, you don't got to tell me just because I talk to you or nothing. I'm just talking about if we're setting up a date, we're going to a brick and mortar establishment. I'm taking you out for dinner. I'm spending my time and money and all this stuff. Like, that's an investment. That's an investment. I'm paying for the first date, and I don't have a gripe about paying for first dates. We're not going down that road, but you know, when it comes to the disclosure thing, I just you don't have to tell me if I meet you at the grocery. You don't got to tell me at the grocery store because I just met you at the grocery store. But once it gets to the point where I'm spending my time and money, I feel like there needs to be some transparency there.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's on her.
Not popular decision, huh?
No, I mean there should be transparency, but at the same time, you got to remember her her decision. So it's like, you know, you can't take the decision away from somebody.
You're right. You're right. You were 100% right. Everybody has a choice to make. You can choose to disclose or not whenever you want to. There is no ironclad. Well, you're better. I'm just sharing opinions here, but you know, again, I'm okay with people disagreeing with me on this one. We good. And Brianna, we're coming up to that next. So let's just get into it because Brianna, she know what the hot button issues is. I'm sorry, Brianna Jenkins Esquire. Got to say that right. You got to respect the titles. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Let's see. We got that one. Okay, here we go. So this one definitely threw me for a loop. So we're gonna roll this clip.
To be with a transgender woman, a man that is trans, you know, had the actual surgery, and you know, they get together and they having relations. Do you feel like
starting it over?
To be with a transgender woman, a man that is trans, you know, had the actual surgery, and you know, they get together and they having relations. Do you feel like it's gay, or is it the same thing as, you know, heterosexual sex?
Seeing as though I'm in the lifestyle, it just depends on the point of view of the person, really. So I can't tell you what's right for you, just like you can't tell me what's right for me. You got so many different titles now. You got pansexuals, you got bisexuals, you got all kind of like asexuals. They put so many titles out there to where you have to figure out what works for you.
So there was that. I want to roll that one more time though. Let me get it in one more time.
To be with a transgender woman, a man that is trans, you know, had the actual surgery, and together and they having relations. Do you feel like it's gay, or is it the same thing as, you know, heterosexual sex?
That's it. So he asked that question. It's essentially is a cis man and a trans woman being together, heterosexual. And y'all saw the clip that we played before this. The conversation was spinning out of control, talking about disclosure. And then, you know, in comes this guy, and essentially they pulled a phone a friend, and they pulled in a gay man. They pulled the gay man in, and I just want to let me get this. They pulled in this guy, and then he validated, you know, his credibility by saying, well, I'm, as a man who's in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, girls, like there's a lot of trans women that's way too fucking comfortable with allowing gay men into conversations about relationships between them and cisgender heterosexual men. Like, gay men have no space in this conversation, and don't let them in. Keep them the fuck out. They got nothing to do with this. Your gay friend has no place in this conversation. No credibility. I think it's whack as fuck that they went and got a gay man to come in and right the ship. And it just, you know, it's just like, I don't know.
How about
I feel like the show was I'm sorry. You can go ahead, bro.
No, I'm just saying, how about this for instance? If all these super straight people out there that swear that dating cisgender women is the only thing that necessarily makes you straight, how about this? You keep the fucking label. Like, I mean, it's not necessary for everybody to necessarily have a label on them. Like, you know, labels is what separates people. That's why there's always been that divide between the LGBTQ plus community and the rest of cis hetero society. because everybody says, "Oh, you must fit this box. You must check that box off." So
and look, that's all Gucci, but they're talking about heterosexuality, cisgender heterosexual men and trans women, and then they bring a gay man in talking about asexual, pansexual, all these new titles.
I mean, they're valid. They're valid.
The fuck? Yeah, but
But
they ain't got no relevance to this shit. I don't care if they're valid.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, those people that identify with that,
Yeah,
they are valid, but they have nothing to do with the conversation.
exactly. That's
Right.
where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
That's what basically what got me fucked up with the conversation, because when he came in, basically he was brought in just to do that. Just to do that, to be honest. Make everyone else feel comfortable in their way. No, it was wrong. All right, gay men do not have no space in these conversations at all, because this is not what y'all into. So fall back. Just like when it comes to guys, I'll fall back because I'm not into that. But anyway,
I mean,
he cleaned it
essentially,
up by
yes.
saying everybody is bisexual, asexual, and all that. No, you shouldn't have been there, dog. If a man sees a trans woman, he is straight. If he wants to be with that trans woman, he's in the straight space. Stop with this bullshit. This labels is so bullshit. And I agree with Mike 110%. I hate the labels. Really, I'm really at the point I just hate labels. Like, really. The only thing I want label if it's grape or if it's cherry. All right, now I know I like cherry. That's the only label I care about. I don't care about I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, he gave a long ass non-answer, and in this conversation, you got nothing but non-answers. You got a lot of people walking on eggshells, and they were giving a lot of non-answers. Nobody gave definitive answers. The only real part in that whole conversation was when the dude was like, "Well, I see trans women as men who just dress up like women," and it's like that was the only sort of real thing there.
Yeah, right.
But everybody else was just dancing around. Like, okay, here, talk about dancing around on eggshells. Listen to this. This guy was literally talking nonsense, trying to not to be offensive.
That man has the operation and then turns into a female, then it's like
nonsense.
He's trying to keep his job. He's not trying to get canceled. Oh, I feel him, but come on, dog.
Nonsense.
Yo, the reason why you getting non-answers and nonsense in this whole fucking conversation is because you don't have not one person that has walked in the shoes of being a man who dates a trans woman.
Exactly.
You haven't had not one person.
Not one.
You didn't even have a trans woman there to defend herself.
Right. And that's another thing. Because I kind of was like, all right.
Well, I mean, it is.
Did they actually speak on this?
It is her show, but
I get it. I get
it.
Yeah. Like I said, I have nothing against her. I'm not even bringing this right here front and center is what's up. But what I'm saying is, you don't even have another trans woman there. At least somebody. They don't have to.
Well, I mean, look. I applaud them trying to do this and create a male space.
Right.
And shout out to TS Madison, or at least her executive producers or shows, whoever. Shout out to her and the people behind the show, because no other shows really attempted this. Like, you got to respect the attempt to try and just give men an unfettered voice where a woman isn't staring them in the face, expecting them to answer a certain way. Like, no.
Yeah, I respect the attempt. But the attempt failed because it wasn't a man. There wasn't a man there who has lived the life of dating a trans woman, or even being on just one date with a trans woman. There was no man there that ever did. So it's like you failed at your attempt.
Yeah, and I feel you on that. And there really should have been a man. Like I said, it should have been one men like us there, at least one guy that really could have facilitated conversation, help share different perspectives, but do it in a way that people can receive and hear, and that's real. Like, it's because this is mass media. This is broadcasting to thousands of people, And there are thousands of people that are listening to this conversation, this gobbledygook, and they got nothing from it. Some might have got some ideas that were negative, or they might have been reinforced in their BS.
Right.
You know, like
that's what it does. It does that.
Yeah.
It
And that's the
assures
issue
them
with the
like,
media.
it just assures people like, oh, see what I mean? Yeah, everybody else feels the same way I feel. Yeah, they're men. I don't care what nobody say. They're men. If you're a grown man, you're a man. Dumb shit.
And that guy said it in the video, and it was unchallenged. It was like, yep, well, I just watched a TV show from this trans woman, and he got away with that on her show, and I'm good with saying it here. And
Right.
you know, wait, they probably were. Yeah, wow. Brianna says it was probably trans attracted, trans men there, but but they didn't say anything.
No, see, that's the thing. If they were trans attracted, trans amorous, they would have said something. What she's referring to is that there was probably a DL man or two there.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I mean, yeah, there's so much, man. But you know, yeah, like Robert said, it was supposed to be a conversation engaging men to have the conversation. And I feel like it engaged men to have a safe conversation, but it also didn't challenge them. And the facilitation was just way off. This Jay Billions guy was not the person for it. Because if he was, they would have never brought in the gay guy. And you know, somebody had commented about the gay man's response. And really, you know, hold on, let's I want to play the question back just so we're clear on what the question really was. Because I'm looking at the question and the answer did not attack the question.
To be with a transgender woman, a man that is trans, had to actual surgery, and they get together and they having relations. Do you feel like it's gay, need surgery? Or is it the same thing as, heterosexual sex?
So that was the question. That question did not need a non-answer that went to talk about asexuality, pansexuality, all these other things. You dodged the fuck out of that question.
Sure did.
He said, is it gay or is it the same? And then why are you asking a gay man if it's the same as heterosexual sex with a cis woman? What the fuck does he know about that shit?
Right. He's not into it.
Come on.
He's not with women at all.
And the question being asked was cringeworthy because, I mean, he said it was a man with all the work done or something like that. And it was just like, wait, what?
But also,
I mean, the man was confused. Oh, he was confused.
To be with a transgender, a man that is trans, had to actual surgery, and they get together.
Who gives a fuck about whether they have the surgery
or not? Right. That's my thing.
What the hell?
What does he went into it totally wrong.
Who was at? I mean, just reshoot the question.
Politically correct, and he fucked up with that.
He messed it all up, but it's you got to blame the producer. The producers, there's a producer, a field producer who's there supervising it. Okay, all right, no. All right, say that question again, but then say it like this.
But
all right, okay, we're good. Now let's move on.
But also, this shows the lack of education on the person who's trying to engage a conversation. Also, because not every trans woman goes out there and gets a whole bunch of surgeries. Some of them are just strictly hormone girls, like where they take the hormones and everything like that and live their life every day.
But just what he was doing was he was reinforcing that only women who have the surgeries are deemed worthy of getting the title of being considered a woman. Because I'm not even going to tread on that ground if they don't have the surgery. So I got to say, if they got the surgery, then no, that shouldn't even be a qualifier.
Yeah, it's like,
and he said that earlier when they were like, yeah, no, all the equipment's right. And I'm like, no, that shouldn't even. Why are we talking about that?
Example, that's like I give an example. Everybody don't believe my ex don't have no surgery whatsoever. That's straight HRT. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's like, do you need surgery to for validation? No. What the fuck? What are we doing here? What are we talking about here?
No.
So you mean
surgery or not, trans women are women, and we know that.
I have a six pack and broad shoulders and I mean all muscled out for me to be an attractive man? No.
It's a mess,
It's
but
bugged out.
so essentially, the conversation was attempted. People have been talking about trying to have those barbershop conversations, but in the context of entertainment TV, I just don't think it can be done. Only because people need to say real stuff, and that wasn't a barbershop environment I've ever been in. Because every barbershop got its resident barber that's a hotep, with the Islam and all that junk on the wall.
All barbershop owners are hoteps.
I mean, where's the dude that just ain't got no place better to be, that's just hanging out at the barbershop all day cracking jokes? Like,
I hate them kind of dudes.
I mean, or the cat that been sitting there for 4 hours, with his head messed up, like mine messed up, because he'll walk in waiting to get, like, there's so much that happens in the barbershops, and that wasn't the environment. And I get that it's chaotic and it's tough. It's a tough shoot to do. But, I think one thing that makes like LeBron's barbershop talk work is they're real. That shit is real, dude. Like, these people say what's on their mind, and they say things that might get them in trouble. I think Kevin Hart, people was trying to come after Kevin Hart for something he said on there.
Yeah, because
was it Lil Nas X?
Yeah.
But it's just like you gotta provide space for people to be real, but then you also got to provide space for everybody to have their say. And obviously it was a setup. It was low budget entertainment TV. And because it's low budget entertainment TV doesn't make it horrible, that's most of the daytime TV that you see. The judge shows, the talk shows, all of that is pretty much low budget entertainment TV, where, the person who's out there in the field, like field producing that stuff, they're not making a bunch of money. They're not getting paid that well. Your reality TV show people, like, they're not getting paid that well to do that stuff. So, they're just getting whoever they can who might have worked on another show. But a lot of these people, they have to take on a wide breadth of conversations and situations. And a lot of times they're not really knowledgeable on it. And that's what happened here, where he was allowed to say these things in a certain way without them saying, okay, now say that again, but do it right. Okay. All right. So you just give that answer. Now give it again, but then use these words. And then now we're going to tape it. Like, I mean, either it's going to be fake TV that's highly edited, or it's just going to be real, raw and uncut. But then you got to show us that real, raw and uncut. And the good thing about Fox Soul is all on the internet. They're not on over-the-air TV, so they're not subject to FCC restrictions. They can use swear words. They can say whatever they want to. They don't have I forget the name of that. But they don't have whatever certificate or whatever their operating license from the FCC where they have to, like, they can't say the 7 words.
Okay, so that's understandable. One thing I wanted to say also too, when I was watching it, when they said when the gay guy said, yeah, well, the girl could come up to you and be like, oh, I'm a special girl. He said, he got carried away. He said, oh, special girl. Oh, I'm going to lead in with that. That's a special girl. Oh, wow. What's going on? This and that.
They don't say that.
They don't come, like.
I'm sure there's somebody out there in the world who might say that, but the way he like flipped out about it was very Jerry Springer-ish. Esque.
Very.
He got very sensational with that.
Like, he kept on going on and on about it. Like, he didn't even want to hear Duke say anything no more after that. He just kept on going on. Oh, special girl. Oh, wow. What's a special girl? Oh, then I'm a special kind of guy then, right? I should say that. I could say that. And it's like, dude, number one, they do not lead with that. No girl that I know personally, and I know a lot of girls. Yes, I do. But I'm far from a chaser or anything like that. But that's besides the point. They don't lead with that. They don't come off like that. They never do that. They know they're a woman. They don't come off saying they're a special girl. No. The only you know the funny thing about it, you know who calls them the special girls?
Who?
Chasers.
Fair enough.
Chasers do. The chasers will really, like, see one, follow her, be all creepy, real creepy about it. And then once he gets the chance to talk to her, approach her, he'll be like, well, I knew you was a special girl. Yeah, she was the one that called him a special girl. The chasers.
Yeah. I mean, obviously those are not men who, have any level of relationship with anybody in the community.
They're not
So,
transamorous. Let's put it
the
that way.
drive-bys and the guys who are DL and the guys who are just, surface level with their, porn knowledge, and that's it. Like,
Right.
essentially they're taking bad marketing from porn, bad buzzwords from porn, and trying to apply it to real life, and it obviously comes across as very cringeworthy.
And that's the thing about it. I'm not the type to really, I don't indulge in trans porn, but it's like, I see what everybody's talking about when they come off, how the way these guys will come off towards them. I see it. It's disgusting, to keep it real. Like, wow.
And let's also be real. I don't know. I'm not even gonna make that point. It's just some people get conditioned to, interacting in certain ways and saying certain things. And, but I say it like this, fellas, if any of y'all use any of that kind of language, you're obviously looking for something and you're looking for a surface level interaction with the girls. So be ready to pay. So, I mean, I'm not one to solicit that men should pay and all that junk, but if you come with that BS and you just a drive-by and you just, trying to be DL and live out some warped fantasy or desire with these girls, women that deserve, your fucking respect, like,
your time,
dude, obviously you should be paying for that shit. Find somebody who will pay, who will accept money to give you their attention and energy, because people don't. Nah, man, that shit ain't cool. I can't co-sign on that. But anywho, fellas, we're gonna give final takes on this, and we're gonna wrap this thing on up. So, Mike, I'm gonna allow you to lead off with the final word on this segment, TV segment.
Yeah, basically, I mean, TS Madison, props to her on the show, but Fox Soul, the producers, whoever was in charge, you failed on bringing it together, because you should have had a transamorous man, or at least two transamorous men on there, to give the proper side of the story and to educate the men who had the questions as to the whole scenario. So this way it could be a real conversation, in your face, raw, and to the point. So please, if anybody ever tries to do it again, come correct.
Fair enough. Brother Trail?
Yeah, like I said before, transamorous is basically something that's still new to me. I knew this word for like about 2 years going on now, but I understand what it is. But if you have someone like that in these conversations, it could make them, one, educate the uneducated, and these people could walk out with some type of knowledge of respect for a person that's into that life. Also, it's not even a lifestyle; it's life. That's into that. You understand what I'm saying? These people is not caring, because the whole thing was staged. Me just watching, knowing TV for the longest, the whole thing was staged. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna say, like I said, I'm not gonna badmouth Madison, because it probably wasn't even, to be honest, it probably wasn't even fully in her hands. Just gonna keep it real. It probably wasn't fully in her hands. But the correspondent, everybody was just off, and it wasn't cool. And it's men like us out here, but they don't want to reach out to none of those men, which is so crazy, which I don't understand. Reach out to these men. If you want something real, you want something uncut, and the knowledge of it, you have to reach out to these people that's in his life. You cannot reach out to someone that's not in his life. Yeah, you have a gay man up there, but he doesn't live like this. He doesn't like women. He likes men. So what are you doing? It's just crazy.
Agreed. So, I'm gonna get in a little final word in here. I just think, I will actually praise Fox Soul and TS Madison show for the attempt, and for even giving a piece of your platform to focus on men. That is special, and that is rare, because a lot of platforms run by women in the trans community, they could care less. And fair enough, but I appreciate them for making the attempt to try and show a side of a side of this community that doesn't get a voice, doesn't get a lot of recognition. And I understand the community itself is still fighting to get its recognition and its due. So I'm not sitting here saying, men should be in front or anything like that. But I do applaud that her trying to give the male perspective any amount of time on her platform. So I do applaud that. I just think this was a misfire. Again, applaud the attempt, but it was a misfire. And hopefully, the next time we can have some real conversation and stretch it out a lot more. I know Foxhole, TV has, you got commercial times you got to hit, so segments can only be so long. But Foxhole is is a digital operation. They can have a special where they're just talking to guys and really dig into this thing if they want to. Air it once or twice or air for a week. Who knows? But anywho, that's really it, guys. But thank you everyone for watching us. And shout out to the folks at Foxhole, shout out to TS Madison. And check out that episode. It is on where the heck? I'm sorry. It's the episode. It's on YouTube. So search Foxhole and you can find it's the Cherry the Boom Backlash. Claudia Jordan goes through DMs. Turnt Out with TS Madison, full episode. That's the show. That's the episode on YouTube. You should check out to find this conversation. You want to get in there and listen to the whole thing yourself. But I would also recommend that you listen to that Cherry the Boom interview. I thought I didn't know who she was, and I thought it was really dope. And it definitely I appreciated that perspective.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just sat watching them, just learned, and I appreciated it. So,
Shout out to Cherry for that, man, for real.
The whole show isn't bad, and it isn't all a throwaway. There are some good parts to it, but it is what it is. So, anywho, with that, we are out. Everyone, please, 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 if you are watching this, share this conversation on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. So get out here and let's go down the list. Follow us on Twitter. We are on Twitter at Men Like Us Pod. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Men Like Us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Also, subscribe to the Patreon. The Patreon, I need y'all. Get on that Patreon. We got some dope exclusive content on there, some dope conversations on the Patreon, and help fund this thing because this equipment, these things, the new platform I'm running on, not exactly free. So would love to help. Also, Men Like Us Podcast on Instagram. Hit us up. So with that, we out, and we're going to see y'all again next Friday.